After 3 years of waiting, Stranger Things Season 4 has come out. Oh, sorry. Stranger Things Season 4 Volume 1 has come out, and I have some thoughts on it. But first, I'd like to clarify that this isn't a complete review on Season 4 as a whole, since this season technically isn't over yet, with Volume 2 releasing in early July. So this is more of my thoughts on what this volume did right and some things that I didn't like. So there won't be a grade at the end of this video since I don't think I should be able to give a grade yet, at least not until volume 2 comes out. Then I can review season 4 as a whole for you guys, even though volume 2 is only 2 episodes. So halfway through volume 1, I started to have mixed feelings about this season. I thought this first part of season 4 was okay. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like Stranger Things, and I enjoyed this first volume, but like many before me have said, I think the magic of season 1 has disappeared. The strange and horror of the show had started to go away since we knew most of what was going on before it's even revealed to us. But I will give credit to this season that it tried something new. For the first time since season 1, I was genuinely surprised at most of the things that happened in this volume. We really start to go deeper into the concept of the Upside Down, and it introduces a new foe that we haven't seen before, nor do we know what he wants or who he is. Overall, the story in Hawkins involving the discovery of Vecna was done really well, and it was the story that I was the most engaged with. I also like that unlike the previous seasons, it's not just our main protagonists who are paying attention to the strange things happening in Hawkins, but it's the town itself that's starting to notice what's going on. They're starting to believe that the town is cursed and that they have their own theories of what could be happening, which is led by the new character Jason, which is able to add different outside perspectives to what we already know is happening in Hawkins. I also have to say that this season is the darkest Stranger Things has been. The Duffer Brothers clearly understand that because this season is the beginning of the end, they have to tone down on the humor and focus on more of the horror elements and serious storytelling, unlike last season. This goes from the story to the character writing and to the kills. And the kills this season are really brutal. You have Vecna killing people by levitating them and breaking their bones and exploding their eyes. It is so violent and it's so gruesome that it's so awesome. I knew from the moment Vecna captured his first target that this season was going to be dark. I also don't think I need to comment on the direction and camera work / cinematography in the show. It's amazing as usual. I don't think Stranger Things ever disappoints when it comes to the work of the camera. I will say that the season implements a lot more one takes, which if you know me, I love so very much. And if you've seen season 4 volume 1, you might be surprised with what I'm about to say, but my favorite one take might have to be the one of Mike, Will, and Jonathan escaping from the military soldiers. I love grounded one takes, and this is no exception. I love how intense the camera work is, how shaky the movements are, and how it's on one take, so kudos to the camera crew for that one. Eleven's storyline of getting her powers back was done really well, since not only does Elle get a challenge that she must overcome, but we can learn much more about her past, a past that she isn't too familiar with. I like that the flashbacks is able to show the different superpowered individuals that were in Hawkins' lab with Elle, and I think this was the best way to explore the other kids who have powers like Elle, unlike what they tried to do in season 2. In general, I like many of the internal struggles that many of the characters have to go through. I think the fact that this season is split into 2 parts and the runtime of each episode is longer helps in slowing the pacing down so the audience can observe what these characters are thinking. I think most of the major characters are given a reasonable amount of time and scenes to show the struggles they are going through this season. I'm saying most because I do think that for this first volume there were some characters who don't have anything going on for them currently. And I think Mike and Will are the CEOs of having the least character depth this season. Dustin gets a pass because the story he's involved in is interesting and not underdeveloped, but Mike's story is best when he's paired with Eleven. You take her away, well, he's got nothing. Will hasn't been as notable as a character since season 2. Season 3 there wasn't much for him to do, and this season is the same story. I really thought they were going to dive deep into his character more and his struggle to grow up after the events he went through in season 1 or to explore his sexuality. Those cards are still on the table, but I'm just so disappointed with how Will's character is being treated. The story that Mike and Will were involved in was interesting at first, but I do feel like after Eleven went her separate way, their stories started to get less engaging. Aside from them escaping from the military soldiers, I wouldn't say this story was A+. And this is where my mixed thoughts / problems begin. One of my main issues with this season is that there are a lot of storylines that are converged with each other, and there are some that aren't done the best if you ask me. Don't get me wrong, I liked all of these storylines, but I think if you asked me to pick a storyline that I didn't like at all, it would have to be Joyce and Murray's story of going to save Hopper. Overall, the Russian storyline has never been my favorite, even in season 3. Unless you want to talk about Alexei, then that's about it. The stories involving the Russians and Stranger Things felt like they didn't belong, but I do feel like that in this season, it's a little more bearable, especially when it came to Hopper's story in prison and trying to escape with the help of Enzo. I really did like Hopper in Russia, and this was the first time I was taking Hopper seriously since season 2. I think his heart-to-heart moments with Enzo was really well written and acted really well by David Harbour, and it made his interactions with Enzo a lot more humanizing. So overall, I liked that part of the storyline. But it was Joyce and Murray's side that I found to be tedious. It was definitely one of the lesser engaging stories. Whenever the scenes would cut to them, I would find myself waiting for another story to happen because I just wasn't feeling it. I get that it's necessary, but it's definitely not my favorite. And while we're on the topic of storylines that I didn't like very much, I think we do need to talk about the California storyline a little bit more. Oh man, this storyline started out so well and then faded away after Eleven went away to get her powers back. I was finding the California story actually engaging, especially with Elle getting bullied and having trouble adjusting to life in California while lying to Mike about it, and also the potential of giving Will an actual story to progress his character. But nah, that's all thrown away after Eleven has to be a superhero again. But even after all that, I still felt engaged with the story, especially with that escape scene from the military soldiers that I talked about earlier, because that scene was pretty good. But after that scene, I think the story starts to lose its juice, and you can tell the writers didn't have a big importance for it, as it wasn't even shown in the last episode of Volume 1. Maybe they'll prove me wrong in Volume 2, but at the moment, this second half of the California storyline and Joyce and Murray's Russian storyline were my least favorite storylines of the season and the ones that I kinda wanted to skip. Now, do I want to end this video with some negative thoughts of mine? No, I don't if I'm being completely frank, because there is one more thing that I really liked about this season, and that is Max. Max was probably my favorite character of this volume, and her story was done really well by the Duffer Brothers. Her dealing of grief after the death of Billy in season 3 was one of the best parts in this season, and I was constantly intrigued in her story and how she was going to deal with her demons, from pushing people away to be alone, to finding out she's going to be killed by Vecna, to writing letters to the people close to her, which all led to the best moment of season 4 so far. And I don't think any of you would let me get away alive if I didn't mention this. It is the scene where Max is trapped in Vecna's curse after she gave a monologue to Billy's tombstone, which was also done really great. She's trapped in Vecna's world and it seems like she's going to die. But then, her favorite music is being played and she makes her way to escape Vecna's curse while memories of the people close to her are playing as her strength to keep going increases more and more. This is the moment when Max realizes that there are people around her who care about her and she needs to be open with them instead of closing them out. This scene with the choice of music Running Up the Hill by Kate Bush makes the scene so powerful, and it symbolizes Max overcoming her demons and opening herself up to her friends, the people who are trying to help. This scene is so fucking good, and I could make an entire video talking about why this is the best scene of season 4. But unfortunately, this is just my thoughts on the first volume season 4, not a video essay. But if this video can get 10 likes, then maybe I'll do that video. Also, I really like Eddie Munson. He just has this charisma from the first moment he shows up on screen. It's also good that Joseph Quinn looks like he's having a blast. I hope to see even more of Eddie in volume 2 and in the final season. Oh yeah, and Hi Jonathan is now what I aspire to be if I ever smoke weed.
What did you say?
Now, because these are just my thoughts and not a full-on official review, no grade will be given yet. I'm just going to give a short comment that sums up what I thought of this season. So plugging this into the new comment system, I'm going to give Stranger Things Season 4 Volume 1 a pretty solid start to the end.
Elle's not stupid. It's not my fault you don't like girls.
What did he say?